It might be hard to keep track of all the Joker incarnations that have come and gone recently, but there isn't much closure to Jared Leto's brief role as the Crown Prince of Crime in the DCU. When Suicide Squad was released in 2016, it received a lot of negative reviews, primarily due to its disorganized narrative that made it difficult to follow so many distinct yet unidentified DC characters. This was not helped by Jared Leto's portrayal of the Joker, whose sequences were haphazardly incorporated into flashbacks and a brief cameo as the titular squad completed their objective. As demonstrated by Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, and Joaquin Phoenix, portraying an original Joker may earn a lot of praise. Leto's interpretation of the classic villain was undoubtedly original, but he didn't get enough screen time to fully explore the character's depth. Rather, he sounds like a hollow mobster. Nevertheless, Leto's portrayal of the Joker wasn't met with unanimous disapproval, and his part was one aspect of a film that brought in $746 million for the studio. Considering that, DC had ample opportunity to develop the character, which was really the original idea. The Joker's painfully brief cameo in Suicide Squad felt out of place in the film's larger story, which didn't initially center on Joker. Rather, it was too clear that Joker's Suicide Squad role served as a launching pad for his solo spin-off, which was being developed concurrently with another film that starred Leto's Joker and Margot Robbie's more popular Harley Quinn. Both a standalone Leto Joker film and Harley Quinn vs. the Joker movie were announced in 2017 and 2018, respectively, but none of them ever got off the ground since Warner Bros. Shelved both in favor of other projects. Warner Bros. Instead went on with Birds of Prey, a spin-off film that exclusively focused on Harley Quinn in the wake of her split with Joker, given the lackluster reception to Jared Leto's Joker and Margot Robbie's electrifying performance as Harley Quinn. In the meantime, Joaquin Phoenix played the title part in what turned out to be one of the most acclaimed comic book movie performances in 2019's Joker standalone film, which was noticeably absent from Leto. But since this was all unrelated to the Suicide Squad canon, there was obviously still potential for Leto's Joker to make another appearance. There was a great deal of misunderstanding when James Gunn seized control of the Suicide Squad franchise and revamped it with the Suicide Squad. Even though the film was promoted as a whole new Suicide Squad installment, actors from the previous film, like as Amanda Waller and Harley Quinn, returned to their roles. This basically meant that, in making a successful second attempt at the property, Gunn was cherry-picking the good bits from the first one, with Leto's Joker conspicuously missing. That being said, his performance was not the only reason for his exclusion. In response to a question regarding Leto's disappearance throughout the Suicide Squad's events, Gunn stated that it was just because the character wouldn't work inside the story. This makes sense considering that the Joker had little to no role in the original and merely served to further complicate the story by coming and going from the action without contributing anything significant. It is also impossible to envision what significant impact Leto's portrayal of the Joker would have had on the events of the Suicide Squad, given that the character is primarily focused on himself rather than functioning as a team member. Actors switching between superhero series is not unheard of, but Jared Leto's introduction as Morbius in Sony's Spider-Man universe signaled the end of his Joker days. Josh Brolin played two Marvel characters, Thanos and Cable, that were owned by separate studios concurrently, but it felt more realistic since one character was nearing the conclusion of his journey and the other was a one-off. While Morbius and the Joker were only beginning their separate film franchises, Leto would have had to juggle playing two parts from comic book series simultaneously. Despite a lackluster film office result and negative reviews, Morbius is still likely to return because he has already been established as a member of Sony's semi-successful Spider-Man cinematic universe. Even while Leto is probably going to play the same character again when he does, it doesn't mean he can't portray another comic book character in the future, especially one from a completely different franchise. It's still true, though, that Leto's Joker will not re-emerge since Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, the last film in the cinematic universe in which he debuted, will bring the story to a close. James Gunn's DCEU is expected to reboot the DC cinematic canon, offering new perspectives on the live-action adaptations of beloved DC tales. However, Gunn has previously said that performers from the first DCEU would be carried over to the rebooted world, with some even playing the same roles again, such as Amanda Waller, who will be appearing in her own solo series, and Blue Beetle. So, it's still unclear if Jared Leto will be one of those performers making a comeback. The Joker played by Jared Leto may resurface in the DCU in a few different locations. Since the two had already starred in the same film, the first is the previously stated Waller solo series. The link is shaky, though, as Waller only ever sought to kill the renegade criminal Joker, not a member of Task Force X. Furthermore, Leto's Joker was last saw in the nightmare sequence of Zack Snyder's Justice League, which does not follow the DCU canon, whereas Davis has played Waller twice since Suicide Squad. Leto's portrayal of the Joker is also not expected to show up in The Brave and the Bold, the DCU's revamp of the Batman story. Superman Legacy's aesthetic is reminiscent of some of the most colorful Superman comic book runs, which suggests that Gunn is bringing a lighter touch to DC storytelling. If that's the route The Brave and the Bold chooses, Leto's Joker is much too dark and brutal to work in a comparable context. It appears that this version of the figure has had its share of success, especially in light of the radio quiet following Leto's return. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. See you soon.